The morning of February 10, 1990, began like any other Saturday in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Stephanie Senac, manager of the local bowling alley, was in her office, diligently counting the previous night's receipts. Her 12-year-old daughter, Melissia Repass, and Melissia's 13-year-old friend, Amy Hauser, were there, ready to help with the daycare. In the kitchen, Paula Holguin, the cook, was preparing for the lunch rush. It was a scene of ordinary, peaceful routine, utterly unaware that in mere moments, it would shatter into a nightmare that would forever haunt the quiet town and leave an indelible scar on the hearts of its residents. This wasn't just a robbery. It was an act of unimaginable cruelty that defied comprehension, leaving behind a trail of devastation and a mystery that persists to this day. Before we delve deeper into this chilling case, remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the Calendar of Crimes so you don't miss future episodes. Your support helps us bring these stories to light and keeps the conversation going. At approximately 8:20 a.m., the tranquility of the Las Cruces Bowl was violently interrupted. An unlocked door, a seemingly innocuous oversight, became the gateway for two armed men. One, wielding a .22 caliber pistol, confronted Paula Holguin in the kitchen, forcing her into Stephanie's office. There, the second gunman already held Stephanie, Melissia, and Amy at gunpoint. The victims were ordered to lie face down on the floor, their lives suddenly at the mercy of these intruders. The gunman proceeded to empty the bowling alley's safe, making off with an estimated $4,000 to $5,000. Ida, terrified but compliant, recalled thinking they would simply take the money and leave. Just as the robbers were finishing their grim task, fate intervened with another tragic arrival. Valerie Teran, the alley's 26-year-old pin mechanic, walked in. He had brought his two young daughters, 2-year-old Valerie and 6-year-old Paula Holguin, no relation to Ida, intending to drop them off at the daycare. Unaware of the horror unfolding inside, Stephen entered Stephanie's office, stumbling directly into the heart of the crime. The gunmen, now with more witnesses, made a horrifying decision. They opened fire, shooting all 7 victims multiple times at point-blank range. The small office, once a place of everyday business, became a scene of unspeakable carnage. After the brutal shootings, the perpetrators attempted to erase their tracks. They ignited some papers on a desk in the office, setting it ablaze, and then fled the scene, leaving behind a burning building and a room full of victims. The fire was reported at 8:33 a.m. Responding officers discovered a scene of utter devastation. Amy Hauser, Paula Holguin, and Valerie Teran were dead at the scene. Valerie Teran, critically wounded, was rushed to the hospital but tragically succumbed to her injuries shortly after arrival. The silence of the bowling alley was now replaced by the wail of sirens and the somber voices of first responders. Amidst the chaos and horror, a miracle unfolded. Despite being shot 5 times, 12-year-old Melissia Repass, bleeding and in immense pain, managed to crawl to the office phone. With incredible courage and presence of mind, she dialed 911. Her desperate plea, "Please help me. I've been shot. My mom's been shot. Everybody's been shot," alerted authorities to the true nature of the incident, ensuring immediate medical attention for herself, her mother Stephanie, and Paula Holguin, who also miraculously survived the attack. Melissia's bravery in that moment saved lives, though the trauma of that day would forever be etched into her memory. Stephanie Senac, Melissia's mother, survived the initial onslaught, but her injuries were severe and life-altering. For 9 years, she battled the physical and psychological consequences of the shooting. Tragically, in August 1999, Stephanie passed away due to complications directly related to the gunshot wounds she sustained that day, becoming the 5th fatality of the massacre. Her death underscored the long-lasting and devastating impact of the crime, extending the tragedy far beyond the initial day of the shooting. Immediately following the discovery of the crime, law enforcement launched a massive manhunt. Within an hour, 10 roadblocks were established around Las Cruces, and every vehicle leaving the city was meticulously screened. The U.S. Customs Service, the Army, and the Border Patrol joined the effort, deploying planes and helicopters to search the vast New Mexico landscape. Despite these extensive measures and the swift response, the 2 gunmen vanished without a trace. The initial descriptions provided by the survivors and witnesses, including Stephanie's brother who saw the men leaving, led to the creation of composite sketches. Suspect number 1 was described as a Hispanic male, approximately 30 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 170 pounds, with dark, wavy hair and light eyes, speaking excellent English with no Spanish accent. Suspect number 2 was an older Hispanic male, around 50 years old, 5 feet 7 inches tall, 140 pounds, with salt and pepper hair, and a slight Spanish accent. These sketches were widely circulated, offering the only visual clues to the identities of the perpetrators. Despite decades of investigation, the Las Cruces Bowling Alley Massacre remains one of New Mexico's most haunting unsolved mysteries. The case is still active, with law enforcement continuing to pursue leads, including attempts to build a DNA profile from evidence found at the scene. The fact that the robbers left some cash behind has fueled theories that the motive was not solely financial, suggesting a more sinister, perhaps targeted, agenda. The community of Las Cruces and the surviving victims and their families continue to live with the profound grief and unanswered questions, holding on to hope that one day justice will be served for Amy, Paula, Stephen, Valerie, and Stephanie. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the Calendar of Crime so you don't miss future episodes. Your engagement helps us keep these important stories alive and supports our mission to explore the darkest corners of criminal history. Thank you for watching.